There aren't that many airlines that I know of these days that hold back. What I mean is airlines that define themselves in a small box, and they just keep on keeping on. I think that is Icelandair, nearly to a fault. I had 2 very pleasant flights with them, and there are some parts of their operation that feel really elevated, really dynamic, really unique, really Icelandic. I mean, how many airlines out there offer a gin library on all of their flights? Icelandair has so much going for it, but I do think that they could just do a whole lot more, if they wanted to. By the way, if you're ever curious about how much I paid for this flight, or the equipment that I use on a daily basis when traveling and creating, all that can be found in the description below. Let me welcome any of you that might be new to the channel. My name is Kevin. I'm here to give you a self-funded and honest look at some of the best, most unique, or simply most popular airlines and hotels in the world, which I've been bringing to you full-time for going on 5 years. I'd love for you to know more about how I do things on the channel, so simply scan the QR code or click on one of my hundreds of videos to do so. Let's get into the trip report. Before we start talking about Icelandair, I need to speak of an error on my part. I've been speaking about Paris's Charles de Gaulle for years now as if it was a shining beacon of wonderful airportness. Terminals 2E and 2F, Air France's home, I truly do love. 2A, B, C, and D are perfectly tolerable. Terminal 1, where we're heading to today, I was so excited to see for the first time. Opened in 1974 and designed by French designer Paul, it was fashioned to be a brutalist octopus, more or less, and I can confirm that it is in fact brutal. Don't get me wrong, I genuinely do love the design, but there really has never been a less practical terminal design, like, ever, at least for this modern day. And don't even get me started with Terminal 3, which I had the pleasure of visiting last month. I'm a little ashamed to admit that I never even realized there was a Terminal 3 until then. So yeah, my days of swooning over all of Charles de Gaulle are over. Here inside the donut that is Terminal 1, the check-in halls are split over 2 levels, and everything is overcrowded. So much so that Icelandair doesn't even open their check-in desks until 2 hours prior, since I presume there's no extra space. Anyway, rant over, and again, I do love the design. If the TWA terminal ever needed a French octopusian companion, I imagine this is exactly what it would look like. If you're enjoying the video and would like to support the channel, there are many ways that you could do so. A quick like on the video and subscribe helps videos with the algorithm. You could join my YouTube channel memberships to get early access to some videos and access to all of my community posts. Or you could check out my Patreon, where I post the most and can help you out with any travel-related questions. Whatever you do, thanks for doing it. So as I teleport in slow motion to the security level, and then to the satellite, let's talk a bit about Icelandair. Their predecessor was created in 1937, and at the time they had a single YKS-7 float plane. They were predominantly a regional domestic airline until 1945, when they had their first flight over the Atlantic to Scotland. The following year, they established regular scheduled services to Copenhagen and Prestwick, Scotland, using consolidated B-24 Liberators. All the while, they had direct competition from, I'm gonna pronounce this wrong, Loftleiðir, which is known to be the world's first quasi-low-cost carrier, which in the 1960s was also known as Hippie Air. The government tried to get the two to combine to no avail, at first at least. In 1979, they finally merged, and that's when the modern-day Icelandair actually emerged. A brief aside, some of these small satellites here in Terminal 1 host only a couple of flights per day. In this case, 3 from this satellite, 2 of which are on Icelandair, and they're pretty much at the same time. And there is no lounge access, since the satellite just has a small duty-free shop, mini-mart, cafe, and seats. In the 90s, the airline introduced 757s, which began to serve as the backbone of their fleet as they began connecting North America with Europe, making that their thing, growing on the reputation of the backpacker airline. They had slow and steady growth until the massive volcanic eruptions in 2010, which closed the airspace of Iceland and parts of Europe for a time, right as they were gearing up for a busy summer season. The government went all in on creative ways to re-establish confidence in the airline and Iceland as a tourist destination, and between 2009 and 2014, their operation doubled in size. For today's history lesson, we'll leave it there, and save the modern-day developments for my next video, which will illustrate my broader point better. But I would like to just put one thing in your mind, how I look at Icelandair. I think the easiest comparison to make is to Copa Airlines. With the other flight to Reykjavik delayed by about 15 minutes, both of these flights were boarding at the exact same time. Not the smartest idea. Good luck getting people to actually look at the flight number on their boarding passes. So let's get on our 3-year-old 737 MAX 8. This is not to crap on Copa, I think they serve their role well. But they are both smaller airlines focused on connecting traffic, taking advantage of their geographic locations. But I find it interesting how widely different the two airlines are in business class. Copa's soft product is like a 3 out of 10, but their hard product could be great, offering lie-flat seats on their longer routes. Icelandair is essentially the exact opposite, providing a really elevated soft product for the most part, alongside a dated and boring hard product, even on their newest A321neos. The interiors on board here very much match that brutalist Charles de Gaulle Terminal 1 theme, but not so much the vibrant airline that Icelandair has turned into. Boring palette aside, the seats are comfortable enough, more or less your standard recliners. I blended right in today, gray on gray on gray. Knee room is a little bit below standard at around 36 inches of pitch, and each seat has a fold-down footrest. Icelandair's stopover program is something that they've been promoting since the 1960s. For, I believe, all fare classes, it's absolutely free to choose to stay a few nights in Iceland. The safety video began on the nice and large but really reflective monitor, and we pushed back. Comforts on board this flight are limited to a single pillow, which I might have switched with my seatmates as I stepped on board because it may have been covered in makeup. Might have. Meal service started out with whatever these delightfully crispy cheese things are. I'd buy these things by the pallet if I knew what they were. Someone please enlighten me. For the first flight, we were provided with just a drinks menu, a comprehensive one. Have a look. Note that the prices on the wine list are just my addition to the graphic to give you an idea of the wine value on board. Really nice to see 6 wines from 6 different countries, but the real treat was at the end, the gin library. I'm proud to have sampled all of them between these 2 flights, except for the Tanqueray. And the first one that I tried was also my favorite. And it also includes a magic trick as well. Around 45 minutes after takeoff, I had my meal tray served. The main dish was chilled chicken breast with couscous, roasted vegetables, and tomato sauce. This was served alongside a choice of breads and an apple cake, and that thing in the top left, unbeknownst to me, is butter. I guess I assumed it was part of the dessert and finished my whole meal before digging into a forkful of butter. It was good butter though. All of the food was exceptionally good. I've said it 14 times, I'll say it again. Give me a high-quality chilled main any day over an overheated, sad square meal. Flavors were bright and very well developed. Overall, this was an easy 9 out of 10. My gin adventures continued as I had a look at the in-flight entertainment, which was decent for its offerings, but there were an insane amount of ads that you were forced to sit through. I'm talking like 4 minutes of them at a time. You might be thinking ads about Mercedes or Bulgari or a global bank, but no, most of these were for like local bars in Reykjavik. Just a bit much. I waited for this shot to talk about service on board, since they were quite similar. Both the shot and the service are cold and a bit menacing. The crew delivered the meals and were attentive to refill drinks, but it was missing the slightest amount of enjoyment. Maybe I was off. Maybe the seats are meant to represent the cloudy skies. This is a tough ranking for me. They're consistently a good value, had great food and drinks, but there was no lounge access and the crew left a bit to be desired. For right now, I'm going to put them at a 5, but that might change in the next video. Anyway, welcome to Reykjavik, a beautiful little airport if I do say so myself. So I really do hope that you enjoyed this trip report today. If you did, please be sure to click that like button and subscribe with notifications on so you don't miss my twice weekly videos. My next trip report will be my onwards flight to JFK. As always, thanks for watching until the end.